Good evening. Our January 10th, 2022 meeting is now called to order. We will have invocation, and the technology plays right for us. He couldn't be here in person, but Bishop Lee Hall is the pastor of Eastside Church of God in Christ. He's going to be leading us in prayer through audio. He's a 21-year Air Force retiree, been in ministry for many decades. He's married, father of 7, so we're grateful for him praying for us. And then after the prayer, we've got Councilman Nielsen is going to lead us in the pledge. All right, let us stand for prayer. Sorry, we had to give Bishop Hall another time. Settle for the mayor today. Gracious God, our Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for guiding us. Thank you, God, for the Holy Spirit leading us that we make the right decisions for this city. Bless all who are in attendance and all those who are listening through other platforms. It's in Jesus' name we pray and ask for your guidance. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. Next item on the agenda is the reading and approval of the minutes from our last meeting on December 13th, 2021.
Mayor, I'm going to make a motion that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of December 13 and they be approved.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Any comments or questions, council? What about any public comments about this motion? Okay, seeing none. Ms. Stacy, roll call vote.
Eli,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
PT,
Yes.
All righty, that motion carries. Awesome. Next item on the agenda is, we have a special guest, Ms. Wanda Holmes of the Family Community Engagement Coordinator. So Ms. Wanda Holmes, would you come forward, please? And even though I stated your name as it's printed on the agenda, will you please state your first and last name?
Yes.
And then we would certainly love to hear what you are going to present to us.
Wanda Holmes.
And she has some others with her. Just only when they speak the first time.
Okay. We're going to begin. Good evening. And thank you, Mayor and the council and all the city officials and those that are here today. We're so grateful to be on the agenda and bring information to the city of Natchez and the surrounding parish. First of all, we're going to allow our supervisor over child development here at the Natchez Parish School Board, Ms. Cassandra Anderson, and then from that, we all just have a particular role, and we'll be brief, just letting you know what the new initiatives are that are coming out. As I stated, I'm Wanda Holmes. I am the new Family Community Engagement Coordinator for Early Childhood for the Natchez Parish School Board, and we have some grant initiatives that are coming out and some things that we thought this would be a great venue to make everyone and keep everyone informed, some things that are coming out that we know that everybody would be able to participate. Okay?
Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for...
I'm sorry, ma'am. Will you state your first and last name, please?
Oh,
Just for the
Cassandra
record.
Anderson. My name is Cassandra, and I work for the Natchez Parish School Board as the supervisor for early childhood education, and thank you so much for having us here today. The reason why we're here is we would like to advocate. We're the advocates for the early childhood care and education for the Natchez Parish. And then our goal is to increase the understanding and the importance of supporting early childhood education. Because of neuroscience research on young children and brain development, our country and our state are all focused on strengthening the early childhood system. Did you know that 90% of the child's brain is developed by age 5? Research shows that providing high-quality education for children before they turn 5 yields significant long-term benefits. Children in a high-quality early childhood program are less likely to repeat a grade, 2 times more likely to benefit from be prepared for academically and for later grades, 48% more likely to have an associate degree, 23% more likely to get a bachelor's degree and receive higher earnings in the workforce. These are substantial benefits, wouldn't you agree? In 2012, the Louisiana legislature passed the Early Childhood Care and Education Act, also known as Act 3. The purpose of Act 3 is to ensure that high-quality early childhood programs are available for all children in Natchez Parish and to make sure that every child enters kindergarten ready to learn. In 2015, we decided to join the Act 3 initiative, and because we knew we were going to need help, we decided to bring on someone, Mrs. Amy Roberson, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Thank you so much, ladies. As she stated, I'm Amy Roberson. I'm actually the early childhood coordinator for the city of Natchez. When they decided as a early childhood team to apply for this initiative, they partnered with the city to bring me in because there are several different components with that grant. That pertain to the public school pre-K programs, the Head Start programs, and the local Type 3 childcare centers, which most affiliate or associate as daycare systems. So any type of work or obligations that were coming from the state into the early childhood network, we divided and conquered, and I was brought in to help with the Type 3 childcare centers. It's been since 2014, so we're going on 8 years with me working with the city. I am wonderfully housed over at Community Development with Randy Lacaze, and a lot of the work that is being done within our agency is to start with the child care directors, make sure they have all the resources and needs met to make sure that they are meeting all their academic assurance requirements, such as observing their teachers, making sure their teachers are qualified to work into the centers, same as a public school, same as Head Start systems. We also provide trainings for the teachers, the same intensive trainings that public school offers the teachers in Head Start. I do them as well for our Type 3 child care centers. And then also we help families. We have numerous families in the Natchitoches Parish area that are deemed low income. So not only do we help families come into our office to apply for child care assistance, we also were awarded over $1 million worth of grants as the lead agency and the network and as a team just last academic year. A part of that $1 million that we received, we were blessed to bless 50 other families to pay the full tuition rates for their children being enrolled into these child care centers. We are in hopes that we can increase those numbers again next year. Additional funding from that $1 million is to help our Type 3 child care teachers that are not receiving incentives or tax credits such as the public schools or Head Starts. So they sign MOUs and contracts that they're going to do X, Y, and Z to improve the high quality within their classrooms in order for them to receive a bonus, because statistically our early childhood teachers are in that low income range and themselves can also apply and qualify for things such as SNAP benefits, child care assistance, but they're the ones that's in the classroom with our children as well. One of the things that I'm grateful to be a part of within that $1 million that we've received, we have been able to do research on how we can help even more families in the community. And so one of those grants is called the Community Supply Building Access and Expansion Grant. And that grant is what Ms. Wanda Holmes and Mr. Lee Posey is coming in to speak about tonight, to give you some more information on how we're going to use this funding, not just to help our teachers, not just to help the directors, but to help the families and those children that are most in need. On the City Council's desk, I have provided a copy of our early childhood brochure. These are all the early childhood programs that are working with our network, and then also just a friendly card if you know of someone that's interested in enrolling their child into one of these programs. It's a quick, easy demonstration on how they can do that application. And for any business or any community member that wants more information, we have some additional programs in the back, but you are also welcome to contact me, and I can give you a handful to put at your office or to provide to any type of organization that you're in. So at this time, I do want to welcome Ms. Wanda Holmes, and so she can...
Y'all probably from a ministry background, we would have an offering here and then we would take a break, so we're gonna keep going. However, thank you so much, Ms. Cassandra Anderson and Ms. Amy, and of course my counterpart is over there, the former Mayor Lee Posey. He works along with me. I hope that there's been a lot of information that's been given and said, and I'm hoping that you understand the whole reason, and we again thank you, the council and mayor, and those that put us on the agenda to be able to come out. We're hoping that by hearing this through the city council and being on the agenda, that this will get out, as we will also have other meetings throughout the parish. To give you some information about the grant that Ms. Amy Robinson just spoke of, we were brought on, myself and Lee Posey, as he's the liaison, so he's kind of the salesperson of that, and he goes out and gets the business and come back and we go out and work together. With that grant, we've been able now to have a pilot school, which would be Fairview Alpha Elementary, and in that now we have starting the initiative to have birth to 2 years old in the pre-K, in the program, in the school system. So that's what our hopes are, to start that in the 22-23 school system. That is the goal in order to do that. And our job is to make sure that we have children and parents that are known, that know about this program, to come out and be a part of it. We have been a part of the Fairview Alpha Parent Teachers Conference. We were a part of the carnival and the fair with tables there, prepared to register families that are interested in this particular entity. We've also spoke to the LP Vaughn Elementary, who also have an interest in also becoming a pilot. We are doing what we call little mini town hall meetings throughout the parish. We are also, if you would take note, January the 29th, we will be at the Campty Library from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., making sure that there is enough information there for parents to come out and be able to register or be able to leave their names and information, so that when this program becomes up and running, that their children will be thought of and actually utilized. The more that we obtain, the more that we'll be able to go out and try to make sure that we have enough of these particular classes to start at other, what we call deserts, because they are surrounding. We're starting at Fairview Alpha, Marthaville, Province Hall, but also if there are other entities and buildings that are interested that you will know of, we will also work with those in order to make this program work in the parish. What's better than having your children start at 6 weeks old in the system and go all the way through to the 12th grade? So we just appreciate the time and the efforts that you all have allowed us to stand before you this evening. We're hoping that there are those that are listening, that you have children, grandchildren, and others, neighbors, that you can pass this information on. We'll be so grateful if you just contact us at the Natchez Parish School Board, myself, Wanda Holmes, and Lee. I'm sure that you all remember him, right? Lee Posey, y'all know him, right? Exactly. Lee, just let them know. Lee actually works with me, and so we have a lot of fun. They gave him a car, but they gave me an office, okay? No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. It's a joke. It's a joke. But however, we again just want to thank you all so much on behalf of the city of Natchez. Thank you all so much, and the Natchez Parish School Board, for allowing us to be able to go out and just spread the good news on this initiative. And again, if you have any questions, we'll be so grateful to take those at this time if you have any.
I have a question. You said, you mentioned schools out in the parish, but what do you have to do for schools here in Natchez, in the city, for facilities?
It's actually a grant that's to address those deserts, and that's the schools that are not as inner city, so to speak. So actually, as I spoke, LP Vaughn is also interested in being a pilot as well. So that would be one of those, as we go ahead and start with Fairview Alpha, then LP Vaughn would be the consideration to start as we get that one up and running.
You did mention that one, okay.
I would just say, and again, thank you all for being here tonight. This is, you know, as an educator myself, this is really some important work, and I see personally how tirelessly Amy works on behalf of the children in these different child centers throughout the city. And again, it's just really great work. And to hear the success of $1 million to then be used to get more kids into these programs. One of the big things in education, I think, that was brought here, and this, to be clear, this program was started under Mayor Posey, and he's in the back. I guess he's shying away from the mic. Certainly, these ladies have well represented tonight, but one big thing is accountability. I think Mayor Posey noticed that there needed to be some accountability in these settings, among other things, and this has been certainly a valuable program to our community, and so we're just thankful for the work that you all do, and you know, hey, kudos, good work, keep it up.
Thank you.
I think you've made more awareness tonight of what you do, being here tonight. Yeah.
Okay, thank you all so much for being here. Right. Okay, all right. Moving on to the next item of the agenda is proclamations, and that is Councilman Harrington.
Resolution number 1 of 2022 is a proclamation declaring January 17th, 2022 as Martin Luther King Jr. Day in the city of Natchez. Whereas each year on the third Monday of January, schools, federal offices, post offices, and banks across America close as we observe and honor Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. And whereas the first national celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday took place January 20th, 1986, and this year the celebration will be on January 17th, 2022. And whereas America was moved by a young preacher who called a generation to action and forever changed the course of history, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. devoted his life to the struggle for justice and equality, sowing seeds of hope for a day when all people might claim the riches of freedom and the security of justice. On Martin Luther King Jr. federal holiday, we celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. King. And whereas Dr. King advocated nonviolent action as a means to overcome the evil of racism in America, and he led the effort that resulted in the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And whereas Dr. King guided us toward a mountaintop on which all Americans, regardless of skin color, could live together in mutual respect and brotherhood, Dr. King recognized the power of service to strengthen communities and achieve common goals. And whereas Dr. King dedicated his life to empowering people and challenged them to lift up their neighbors and communities, he broke down barriers within our society by encouraging Americans to look past their differences and refuse to rest until our nation fulfilled its pledge of liberty and justice for all. And now, therefore, I, Ronnie Williams, Jr., Mayor of the City of Natchez, hereby proclaim Monday, January 17th, 2022, as Martin Luther King Jr. Day in the City of Natchez in honor of the memory and legacy of Dr. King. I move to adopt Resolution number 1 of 2022.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Council, I guess, well, let me say first, and then if you all have any comments, certainly want you to do that. You know, nobody needs to introduce us to Dr. King. This is a well-written proclamation, but everybody knows the life work of Dr. King, and the fact that he was a unifier, the fact that he was passionate about everybody having equality, I mean, all of those things. And so I would just say that on next Monday, we will honor his memory, honor his life, I should say. You know, with the breakfast at the MLK Center, we should see that a little bit later on, and also a march down to the Triangle. We've done some work on the Triangle, the MLK Triangle, and certainly we want to rededicate that Triangle on next Monday. But again, just such a great individual who, you know, is still impacting our country today. So, Council, I don't know if you got any comments.
I understand. No, you said it all.
Okay. Any public comments? All right, seeing none, roll call vote.
Eli,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
Peachy,
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. I think we have it on the, later on the announcement, so I'll reiterate then, okay? All right. Next item on the agenda is item number 61. This is ordinance number 61, and that's Councilman Nielsen.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance number 61 of 2022, possibly, is that a,
Well, it started in 21,
okay.
remember?
2021, ordinance amending ordinance number 64 of 2001 by changing zoning classification of property described as follows, lots 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, Block E of Keegan Addition, less 2,271 square feet to Highway Department, and Lot 5, Block E of Keegan Addition, less 797.6 square feet to Highway Department, corner of East 5th and Kaiser Avenue, whereas the Planning Commission of the City of Natchez, State of Louisiana, has recommended at their meeting of December 8, 2021, that the application of Lascotti Development to rezone the property described from B1 Commercial to B2 Special Exception to operate from 5 a.m. to 12 a.m. for retail development, corner of East 5th and Kaiser, be approved. And this ordinance was introduced on December 13th, 2021, and published in the Natchez Times on December 13th, 2021. And I move to adopt ordinance number 61 of 2021.
Second.
All right, council, I think we know that this is related to potential Chick-fil-A development at the parcel of land that's being described in ordinance number 61. We do have, I know it's been, we only do one meeting in December, it's been a while, but Mr. Mark Roberts was here at that meeting, so if there's anything you want to share, Mark, or I don't know if there's anything new. We also have a couple people on Zoom as well. If there's anything after Mark speaks that they might want to share.
Sure. Mr. Mayor, we haven't really gotten any feedback from anybody, but we're just asking that the ordinance be adopted this evening.
Okay. All right, and I'm sorry, state your first and last name. I
I'm
just gotta
sorry,
get you-
it's Mark Roberts.
Okay, Mark Roberts, just, for the record type of thing.
Absolutely.
Council, any questions? I mean, I know it's been,
Excited.
okay,
Thank you.
yep. All right, thank you, Mr. Roberts, for being here. There were no questions or comments for Mr., I think we found out it'll take about a year if everything goes well. Last meeting, that question was asked. I'm excited about it as well, the growth that we're seeing taking place, and just believe that we want to do whatever we can to make sure this continues to happen, all right? But again, thankful for the presence of fully authorized Chick-fil-A. All right, any public comments or questions about this item on the agenda? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Eli,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
Peachy,
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. Excited about it. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 001. That's Councilwoman at Large Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, this is for introduction. Ordinance number 001 of 2022 is an ordinance amending ordinance number 64 of 2001 by changing zoning classification of property described as follows. Lots 2 and 3, Block M of S and P addition, being 125 North Street / 821 West Street. Whereas the Planning Commission of the City of Natchez, State of Louisiana, has recommended at their meeting of January the 4th, 2022, that the application of Daniel Cook to rezone the properties described above from R1 Single Family Residential to R1 with additional special exception zoning to operate a vacation rental at 125 North Street, 820 and 821 West Street be approved. And I move that, this is for introduction only.
Okey dokey, thank you, Councilwoman at Large. Is Mr. Daniel Cook available tonight? No? Ms. Rock, can you, if there's any additional thing, or is it pretty much stated in the ordinance?
Well, just to be a little bit clear, to explain what this property is already a rental property. It's actually a duplex. So you have one duplex that's fronting on at 125 North Street, and then you have another duplex that's at 821 West Street. But this is not just a typical day-to-day, a typical rental. With a vacation rental, the time limit is different. It's a little bit different from a traditional or Airbnb. So with a vacation rental, the time frame can change automatically, but it was only zoned for residential R1. So to accommodate for that commercial, for the vacation rental, we're asking for the special exception.
Okay? Thank you, ma'am. Any questions or anything based on?
I got to catch back up with you. Okay, we have B&B, and then Airbnb, and now we have vacation rental?
They're calling them verbos, and they're popping up everywhere, all over the place.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
Now that
the
you
rental,
mention
the
that.
time frames for a Verbo and Airbnb is just a little bit different from a regular rental, which, a regular residential rental, they can rent from month to month or whatever.
Right.
But with a vacation rental, it's a little bit different, as they can rent the house as their own and use it as their own as they want to for whatever time frame they want to do it for. I think the taxes are a little bit different. We're still researching a lot of that because it's still fairly new, but it's picking up and it's spreading like wildfire. So we're just trying to make sure that we're staying on top of everything, because with the influx of people that are coming here to Natchez, they're bringing new ideas, and we're just trying to make sure that we stay ahead of
Like it.
everybody else.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I just want to say, bringing people here, they need to know where they're going, and I didn't know where it was. There's no street signs over there, so there needs to be a street sign showing, if I went in the right direction, it's off of MLK, and even if you go down North Street, there are no signs over there. So I had to use my GPS to find West Street and where the place was. So I just want to bring that to the attention of Mr. Natchez, if he would see that we have some street signs over there. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments or questions, council? All right, seeing none, we will have it up for vote the next meeting. Next item on the agenda is item number 002, or ordinance number 002. That's Councilwoman Washington Eli.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance number 002 of 2022. The ordinance amending the ordinance number 664 of 2001 by changing the zoning classification of the property described as being the exchange. I'm reading the wrong one. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. The exchange bank branch building lying in the northwest corner of Lot 2308 Broadway subdivision, whereas the Planning Commission of the City of Natchez, State Louisiana, has recommended at the meeting of January the 4th of 2022 that the application of Shalonda Calvin to rezone the property described as from B1 commercial to B1 for additional by BA for commission of high and low alcohol on the premises, Broadway Shopping Center of 203 Casa Avenue be approved. And this is just for introduction only.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Washington Eli. We do have Ms. Calvin, who is here with us today, and if you would, again, excited about the business interest here in the city of Natchitoches, and I love whenever we get, national change, but I really love our small businesses. So, will you kind of explain to us? Yeah, come to the podium, state your first and last name for the record, and just want to, as she's walking to the podium, their request was approved, just to kind of say that again. I know the councilwoman read it, but wanted to say that again. Yes, ma'am, state your first and last name, and just tell us what you're going to be, what business is going to be there.
Okay, my name is Shalonda Calvin, and I'm the owner, one of the operators of Winged It at 203 Kaiser Avenue, and we'll be serving basically burgers, wings. It's going to be our twist basically on Buffalo Wild Wings. We'll be doing it our way. So, Winged It. Yes, ma'am.
And I would say I've had an opportunity to indulge, all right? Once at the museum, and then also there's some orders sometime here. And I would tell you that absolutely delicious. Really, really good food and creative menu. So I think it's just going to help to add to, give people more choices around here, which is one of the things we've had people say. But you all are doing it, and I want to congratulate you, and
Thank you.
thank you for taking that risk. I think it's going to do well.
Thank you.
Yeah, they were good. I couldn't stay away from the wings. They were good.
Yeah, really.
We're hoping in the next month.
That'd be great.
Awesome,
Congratulations.
Sounds great.
awesome. And everybody, this building has been a few things, but it's right across from Porter's, kind of.
Right.
Right, in that Broadmoor Shopping Center.
Good
yeah.
location.
Right
Right.
from what, Dollar General over in that area.
It's sitting right there on the
Right there on the
corner.
corner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Used to be green, now it's.
Right.
right.
Y'all done a wonderful job with the building, I have to say. It's
Thank
looking
you.
great.
It's coming along.
It's
Yes.
coming, it really is.
Yeah, real creative designs.
And congratulations, Ms.
Thank you.
Any public comments or questions?
Just one, when are you planning to open now?
Hopefully in the next month.
Next month?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Keeping our fingers crossed.
Keep us posted.
We will.
I know you do social media and all of that as well. Awesome. Well, again, we're excited. Again, thank y'all for doing this. It's going to be great for the community.
Thank you.
All right. Next item is for introduction as well. Item number 003, Ordinance 003, and that's Councilman PT.
Thank you, Mayor Williams. Ordinance number 003 of 2022, an ordinance amending ordinance number 64 of 2001 by changing zoning classification of property described as follows. Lot southeast corner of Isidore Drive and Kaiser Ave. This property is located at 601 Kaiser Avenue, whereas the Planning Commission of the City of Natchez, State of Louisiana, has recommended at their meeting on January 4th, 2022, that the application of Kirk Swallow with Natchez Regional Hospital to rezone the property described above from B2 commercial to B2 commercial with special exception zoning for the operation of a 24-hour pharmacy, drive-through, and with walk-in access. And again, this property is at 601 Kaiser.
Okay, all right. And as he is mentioned in the ordinance, Mr. Kirk Swallow is here himself in the flesh. So if you don't mind, Kirk, coming to the mic and just, again, it's pretty straightforward, but since we got you here, all right, and as we have asked for the record, state your first and last name, please, sir.
Yes, sir. Kirk Swallow. We introduced last week an ordinance, or 2 weeks ago, an ordinance to expand our public pharmacy, which will be opening in the next 30 days or so, give us the capability to go to 24 hours a day. There's no 24-hour day pharmacy between Lafayette and Shreveport. This would give us an opportunity, if the volume demands, to expand our hours to 24 hours at that site. It would be just open 24 hours for the drive-through, would not be walk-in. And that's at our property at 601 Kaiser Avenue, which is our multi-specialty clinic.
So Lafayette to Shreveport, folks, and it's going to be in Natchitoches.
That's right.
That is awesome. You know, and Kirk, we just, I can say I appreciate the work you've done at NRMC since you've been there. Kirk has kind of like the Midas touch. So everything's just kind of, I know he's humble, but everything goes well, and we just really appreciate your leadership. And I think this is another benefit to the community that's going to serve folks who are working during some strange hours. They can get their medicines. Awesome. Any comments, questions?
Thank you. Right.
Which I,
Oh, sorry.
just saying great.
Councilwoman Washington Eli.
I'm sorry. Ms. Solomon, like with the insurance, would y'all be accepting all type of insurance or just?
Yeah, we'll take all insurances
Okay.
that typically, that are adjudicated through a pharmacy,
Okay.
through a pharmacy plan. So it's irrespective of the type of patient. This will be expanded to cover our ER after hours and what we call our med-to-beds program. So when patients are being discharged from the hospital, we can have their medicines their prescriptions electronically sent over to the pharmacy. They're filled and delivered to the patient's bedside before they go home. So it's to help increase their compliance so we can decrease readmissions into the hospital for our admitted patients. So, but it'll be open to every type of insurance plan.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any public comments, questions? All right, thank you, Kirk, for the explanation for being here. Looking forward to it. Really exciting. All right, next item on the agenda, ordinance number 60, and that's going to be Councilman Nielsen.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance number 60 of 2021 is an ordinance approving the acquisition of a tract of land situated in Section 10, Township 8 North, Range 7 West, from Elizabeth S. Arthur for the total consideration of $83,000, authorizing the mayor of the city of Natchez, Ronnie Williams, to execute a cash sale deed on behalf of the city for the acquisition of the tract and to execute any and all other related documents that might be necessary and proper to provide for advertising in a savings clause. And I move that we adopt ordinance number 60 of 2021.
Second.
Okay, all right. Motion has been made and seconded. Again, it's been a month, which is unusual for us a little bit. But Matt, just kind of remind us of, I think you gave some explanation, but help us out.
Yes, sir. This is a property that the city is going to buy to drill and install a water well for supplemental supply for the city of Natchez. This supplemental supply will help aid us when we rehab Plant 3 at the water plant.
Ada specifically, and I know you said it a million
I
times.
think the well is going to produce 300,000 gallons a day of potable water.
Right. Any questions, council? Any public comments or questions this time? All right, seeing none. Roll call vote.
Eli,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
Petey,
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. Next item is ordinance number 004. That's Councilman Harrington.
Ordinance number 004 of 2022, an ordinance approving the conveyance of the hangar located on Lot 3 of the Natchez Regional Airport to, Ed's going to have to help me pronounce this one.
Dean's here, I'm not sure how to pronounce it either.
Shoe Peak? Okay. Shoe Peak Development LLC for the consideration of $24,000, authorizing the mayor of the city of Natchez, Ronnie Williams, to execute a bill of sale on behalf of the city for the conveyance of the hangar and execute any and all other related documents that might be necessary and proper to provide for advertising and a savings clause. And Show Peak Development LLC is offered to purchase the hangar on Lot 3 from the city for the sum and price of $24,000, and the city of Natchez is interested in conveying the hangar on Lot 3 to Show Peak for the offered price. And the city is obtaining an appraisal of the hangar on Lot 3 from Drangy's Appraisal Service, which said appraisal is dated December 1st, 2021, and which reflects a market value of $24,000, which amount is equal to the purchase price. I move to adopt ordinance number 4 of 2022.
Second.
Wait, no, you don't need to do that.
No,
It's
just
for introduction.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll get it to next time. We'll make sure Councilman Harrington does it. All right, Dean Lamont, that's you? Okay. And these next two are connected, but I know we have to read the next one for the record. So do we, I know you all have questions. Ed, didn't you say both of these are connected with one another? Are they both tied to Dean too?
Yeah, the land lease is where the hangar will be sitting on, the city owns the land, and Dean will own the hangar. And that's standard, that's normal on airports, is that, the airport doesn't sell lots. And it's not just this, it's all the airports, all the public-owned airports. They own the land, and then there's a land lease for whatever structure is on the property, but the tenants, they will own their own building. I know that might sound a little confusing, but there's usually a long-term lease based on the value of the building, and then it's their building on city property.
Gotcha. But Dean can never own the land. That's what you're saying. Okay? And Dean, that's exactly how I pronounced it when I was reading it, by the way. Chupeak. All right. Now I'm just messing around. But anything you'd like to say, Dean, or everything's pretty much clear? Okay. All right, and just, okay, so just for the record, because you're not at the microphone, Dean, but Dean is going to use the hangar to store his airplane and maybe build another hangar in the future.
Yeah, he currently owns an airplane, and he's renting space from the city of Natchez, so he would move it from a city hangar to his hangar.
His hangar, okay? Any public questions or comments? All right, council, y'all didn't have any other questions or comments about this? All right, again, we'll vote to the next meeting. The next item on the agenda is Ordinance 005, and that's Councilwoman at-large Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance 005 of 2022 is an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Natchez, Ronnie Williams, to execute a lease in favor of Choke Peak Development, LLC, of Lot 3 as shown on the airport layout plan of April 12, 1994, and further providing for advertising of the lease and an effective date. Whereas the city of Natchez is the owner of those lots shown on the airport layout plan of April 12, 1994, and more particularly is the owner of Lot 3 as shown and depicted on the layout plan. Whereas Lot 3 of the Natchez Regional Airport was leased by the city of Natchez to William Kingery by lease dated March 4, 2009, as assigned by Kingery to Mark Milliken and Kevin McGregor by instrument dated April 13, 2009. Whereas by resolution number 103 of 2017, the city approved the transfer of the interest of Mark Milliken in and to Kingery lease to Harold Foster and Lori Berry. And whereas further, the Kingery lease had a 10-year term and said term has expired. That after due proceedings and advertising, and whereas as following, after due proceedings and advertisement, the said city does lease the property more fully shown as depicted as Lot 3 on the airport layout plan of April 12, 1994, for the term of 10 years with the annual consideration of $2,178.57. Any opposition to this ordinance shall be made in writing, filed with the clerk for the city of Natchez. Whereas the notice of this proposed ordinance shall be published 3 times in 15 days, 1 week apart in the Natchez Times, the legal journal for the city, and that the ordinance be posted in the city hall. This ordinance shall be made in writing and filed with the clerk for the city of Natchez within 15 days after the first publication of this ordinance, and that a public hearing be held after the advertisements have been completed. That the mayor of Mayor Ronnie Williams be, and he is hereby authorized, after due proceedings and after all legal delays, to lease the property more fully shown as Lot 3 on the airport layout plan of April 12, 1994, for the term of 10 years with the annual consideration of $2,178.57, and that the city clerk be authorized to advertise his proposed lease in accordance with the law 3 times in 15 days. And this, Mayor, this is for introduction only. I know I read a lot, but that's for introduction only.
Ed, did you kind of explain that previously?
Yeah, I explained them both at the same time. This is the land lease.
Okay. All right. Questions you can think of right now, council? If not, certainly read over things for the next meeting, and it's going to be put up.
And Mayor, Stacy, is it the next meeting or 2 meetings?
Yeah, it's not.
It's 15
Yeah,
days, 2 meetings.
so ordinance number 004 will have a final vote on it at the next meeting. But 005, it's got to be advertised 3 times, 1 week apart. So we're looking at February the 14th for the final vote on that.
Should they be coordinated? Because he doesn't want one or the other. I mean, he has to have both.
We could move it to, both of them to February the 14th, if y'all so choose. Well, yeah.
I mean, I think the city council is going to support both pieces, is
So
what
we'll
I,
just put them on the February
Probably gonna
14th.
Yeah.
Okay?
okay? All right. Any other comments, questions about that piece? All right, seeing none. Next item on the agenda, and we're going to move to make a motion in just a minute, but I do need to make a few brief comments, and this is dealing with the position of finance director. To say that I'm disappointed about this process would be an understatement. Just thinking about the process, there was total objectivity. Obviously, a previous finance director retired late September. And just to be very clear, we knew we needed to find somebody, but we need to find the right person given the nature of that particular job, finance director. Just so everybody knows, we consulted a hiring expert who, gave us some of his services pro bono, conducted not 1 but 2 searches, and extended the search a little bit more that second time. What I'm concerned about is that one of the things, we're approaching budget, which is massive work in and of itself, and we don't have a finance director. We have a lady who has worked in finance for 25 years who has stated that she is leaving the last day of this month. And the hope is that she would have provided some valuable hands-on learning, if you will, kind of transition the person, but we don't have time to do that at this particular point. Finance department is already stretched thin. They have duties that they're taking on from other unfilled positions in finance. The individual we were looking at, although he didn't have what we call direct municipal experience, was a highly qualified person who had the undergraduate accounting degree and an MBA, which we say would be a degree that is would be prominent. That would be something that would be admirable, that have to go with this position. One individual who actually did the job of finance director, and I think I made this clear, said that he thought the person could do a good job as finance director for the city of Natchez. He was an educator at the Northwestern State University, owned and operated his own small business. I have no doubt that he would have done a great job for the city of Natchez. I think it's a missed opportunity. All of us have been elected to do a job, and one of them is to appoint people in these director level positions. And I'm just kind of a little baffled. I don't know what do you think? What do you want? Not one, but two searches. Included people on the interview board who very objective. The process was above board, and we're looking at 4 months without a finance director in a crucial time of the year, one of the most important positions in the city of Natchitoches.
And that's why we need to move further, because it is one of the most important positions in the city of Natchez. When you're dealing with finances, money, you know, you are steward over the city's finances. And so we need someone who, I feel, this is just me speaking individually on my behalf, I feel we need someone more qualified to handle governmental affairs. And I don't feel this particular person fit that qualification. I just feel it needs to be opened up again to allow more time, to allow someone else, other people to apply. I mean, this was kind of quick when it was done, my understanding, and I could be wrong, but my understanding, I think, was done less than 3 weeks when, you know, when we found out that the person was actually leaving. And the decision to hire this particular person was done quite quickly. And, you know, and I would recommend, even when hope that it be reopened, and when it's reopened, that one of the council members sit on this interviewing process, be a part of it. And that's just my opinion on that.
Well, I think that wasn't stated clearly, and I kind of felt like that's really what the issue is. I have to say, Councilwoman at-large, this was not done quickly.
And I'm not being argumentative.
Oh, I understand, but if you say something on the record, I have to refute it. It wasn't done quickly. The previous finance director left at the end of September, like last day. We didn't make an offer until the end of November. That's 2 months. That's 2 processes. In fact, I think I explained very clearly to everybody that I looked at the applications and said, we need to go back out again. We had a consultant who, again, a local guy, did pro bono work for us and said, you know, I think you ought to interview these folks. And the person who was ultimately selected through a process said, I mean, he was one of the people. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if any other council, maybe y'all could shed some light. But again, I would reiterate, I think we're missing an opportunity here.
I agree with Mr. Mayor Ronnie Williams. I agree with Councilwoman at Large that we do need to reopen it, because I feel like it was done too soon, and also that you did explain that it was chosen by a previous administrator that was on the board, but it wasn't in the best interest, from my opinion. And I think that we need to redo the board, because we basically did choosing of he say, she say, you know, that he's good, and I don't feel like that's, you know, going to be okay with me.
Okay, we'll move on very soon, but I want to be very clear that the person we're talking about is Pat Jones, who everybody, I mean unanimously, say did a wonderful job as finance director. Ed Lee, Human Resources, that obviously makes sense. And the other person, Jill Raines.
He's not Pat Jones or Jill Raines. He is himself. So you can't look at him and compare him to Pat, you know, peaches to apples.
I'm just saying these are the individuals who saw the qualities and said,
We appreciate Mr. Pat Jones'
and said
opinion. I do.
that this person could do the job. Myself, it was 4 people all together, and Jill Raines, who has 25 years of experience, as I mentioned, in finance. All right, so anyhow, it's a dead thing, but the only thing we could do is remove it off the agenda. I don't know, any other council, y'all want to say something real briefly?
I so make a motion that we remove it from the agenda.
I second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded.
Before we vote, I'm going to make a comment too. That, was his resume perfect? No. It wasn't by any means that perfect for that position. It's not, you want someone with a Pat Jones type experience, for example. But we had it open twice. This was the best candidate we got from having doing it 2 times. I'm worried continuing to open it, we're gonna get the same people applying over and over. And this is a position we need to fill yesterday. It gets to a point, no one's running the finance here. What's gonna happen? What is it, the city of Minden? Have you seen in the news what's happening there? And the state steps in and takes over, and you're talking about a disaster. And that's where we're getting to. I'd say giving the man a chance, and see what happens, but that's just me.
That's where I'm at.
I agree with you both, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think the city as a whole would like someone better than someone that's basically did a real estate agency. In his resume, he only described that he was a real estate agency. It wasn't as his resume was from the board. It wasn't no resume at all. It was the board that was his resume. It didn't have no other job description. I know that he probably worked somewhere else, but it was just from my expectation of doing a resume, it just wasn't complete. And I understand that Mayor Ronnie said that he had another person that didn't want it because of their background. But hey, everybody has a bad background, but that's just my opinion.
Councilman Nielsen, I thank you.
Well, I'm kind of where Councilman Harrington is. I would love to have a CPA and a experienced finance director, but in light of the interviews, this was the top of all the candidates. And I think you had 3 people that are qualified to make the decision. And, I'm really concerned about the next 2 months of not having somebody in there during budget and all that can lead us. I wish we had different candidates and applicants, but I don't understand. I don't hear anybody offering a solution. I haven't seen anybody on this council offer up anybody that fits the qualifications that you're asking for. But we're shooting down, we could have gone interim if there was a big enough concern or whatever, but I just think we're in for rough water ahead.
Good. You want?
Yeah, well, if I may speak, I think that was something that was kind of discussed to possibly do like an interim position, but from my understanding, Mr. Hickman, he didn't want to take that route. But, when you're dealing with the money, I wouldn't want anybody to come in who don't have any experience, because it's basically like you teaching. We need somebody that can run with it. I understand it's a process, everybody at some point have to be trained. But again, the resume, if you look at it, I don't think that it was just very appealing. In any other situation, I think that's what you have to go off of, and to me, it just wasn't there.
I agree, Councilman PT.
All right, Will?
Well, we had a motion on the floor.
You got a motion on the floor. Let's
And
roll call vote.
we had a second. And I wasn't sure when Mr. Harrington made his statement, was he making any type of substitute motion, or he was just giving comments? Okay.
Yeah, I think by the motion and second. Roll call vote.
Eli,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
This is to remove it, is that correct?
Yes.
No.
PT,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a resolution, Resolution 003. Councilwoman Washington Eli.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution number 003, the resolution authorizing the Mayor Ronnie Weeds Jr. to execute an agreement with the Louisiana Office of Community Development for the 2002-2001 Community Water Enrichment Fund Grant Application CWEF for improvements to the Natchez water system. And I move to adopt resolution number 003. And I think this is in Matt's department, if he can explain.
A second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Matt, you got some comments about this?
Yeah, this is a grant we applied for. It's not a full grant, to replace about 2,000 feet of galvanized water line, excuse me, out in the Oak Grove area, Wilkerson Road to be more exact. This will not, like I said, this will not pay for the whole project, but it will certainly help.
Okay. All right, any comments, questions, council?
No, sir.
Any public comments? All right, seeing none, roll call vote, Ms. Stacy.
Eli,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
PT,
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. Last item on the agenda is a resolution 004, 004. Councilman Nielsen.
Thank you, Mayor Williams. Resolution number 004 of 2022 is a resolution authorizing Mayor Ronnie Williams Jr. to submit a funding commitment letter with the Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities grant application for the project entitled Sibley Lake Lift Station Emergency Power System Replacement. Whereas the City of Natchez has a need to replace the emergency power supply generator at the Sibley Lake Sewer Lift Station, and whereas the City of Natchez has submitted an application for funding a project entitled Sibley Lake Lift Station Emergency Power System Replacement under the Federal Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities Grant Program for the fiscal year 2021, and whereas if the application for this project is approved, the amount of federal funding to be provided will be limited to 75% of the project cost, and whereas local matching funds in the amount of 25% of the project cost will be required, and whereas the online project application requires a funding commitment letter from the local entity applying for the funds, and whereas the estimated cost for this project is $108,017, and whereas the amount of local matching funds required for this project equals $27,004.25, whereas the amount is available in the City of Natchez Utility Department budget for the current fiscal year. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Natchez City Council hereby authorize the Mayor, Ronnie Williams Jr., to submit a funding commitment letter as outlined above with the grant application for the project entitled Sibley Lake Lift Station Emergency Power System Resolution. I move to adopt resolution number 004 of 2022.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Matt, that's you again, right, sir?
Yeah, this is a grant we're applying for to replace the backup generator unit at the Sibley Lake Sewer Lift Station. That's the lift station that's right beside Stein's. The generator that's there now is original to that station when it was changed over from the sewer plant back in the early 90s. So that generator that's there now has lived its useful life. We can't find parts for it anymore. So it needs to be replaced. That lift station actually pumps all of the sewage from West Natchez on around to the master lift station. So it's a very important lift station, so we want to take advantage of this grant.
Okay. Any comments or questions for Matt, y'all? All right. Any public comments or questions? Seeing none, Ms. Stacy, roll call vote.
Eli,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
PT,
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. Our announcements, the City of Natchez Our offices will be closed this coming Monday, or next Monday, January 17th. And next city council meeting is on the 24th. Steve, I don't know if there's another slide. Oh, that's it. Ms. Roy asked earlier, so on next Monday, there's a breakfast, not necessarily a private breakfast, but a breakfast honoring Dr. King, and certainly want to honor Councilwoman Morrow as well. And the reason we want to do that is because for many years, she put on the MLK Day Remembrance Programs. So there'll be a breakfast at 9 o'clock at MLK, open to the public, but there's a, kind of like wild food last type of deal going on with that. And then, starting at 10 o'clock, the lineup starts at 10 at the Ben Johnson Auditorium, and there's going to be a march from Ben Johnson Auditorium to the newly renovated MLK Triangle on Texas Street, where there will be a program of rededication there. And each program, the breakfast and the triangle, has its own speaker, songs, and, the typical things that you would expect out of MLK Day program. Also, I should say that on this coming Saturday, and some of you maybe have seen, but there's a day of service, if you will, and various activities going on. I know I shared it on my Facebook, some others have as well. Things like activities, outside activities with the kids, developing care packages at these different locations. So please get on Facebook, look for that. Again, it's on my page. Tutoring going on that day. So just a host of service activities, give back opportunities for individuals, because we know Dr. King was a man of service, and just really appreciate everybody who's thought about and planned and put these things on. So that's what we've got to honor Dr. King and his legacy, and hopefully everybody would pick something to be a part of if you can't take part in everything going on this coming weekend. All right? All right. Seeing that that's our only announcement, again, our next meeting is on the 24th of just 2 weeks from now. At this time, I will hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
all in favor?
Second.
All right, meeting is adjourned. Good night, folks.